Well, hello and welcome to Knife Delights, and welcome to part 2 of saving Grandpa's knife. In part 1, we started off with an incredibly rusty knife with lots of that green patina on it, on the bolsters and such, and that's been very tough to remove. Where I left off is I put this into some rust remover for about the third soaking. I left it in there for about 2 hours. And this is the condition as we come out from that rust remover. As you can see, that rust remover puts that false patina on the blade, so we got to get all of this wiped off. I did rinse it off in the water, but we'll get it all cleaned up. So if you haven't seen part 1 already, I encourage you to go back and watch part 1. The reason I broke it down into 2 parts, folks, is even though I did some of part 1, the part of the video in double time speed, that video ended up being 45 minutes long. And I just couldn't keep going with one video. Those video files, they get very big, and it's hard for my computer to process once you get up into having all of that RAM memory and all of that in the processor. So it's just easier to break it down into 2 different parts here. Plus, I know when they're really, really long, you can't, you don't have an hour and a half probably to sit and watch a whole video. So hopefully by breaking it up, it makes it a little easier for you to consume or digest these videos. Yeah. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? So we have made tremendous progress here. Just some tremendous progress. Yeah. Before I forget, I want to start with these little pins. And you can see we're starting to get some shine back to them. You can see there's still a little bit of rust around them. And I'd forgot about this, and I don't know why I didn't use this before, but a good old toothpick is sometimes good for cleaning these pins off because the wood is soft and it doesn't scratch them. So we'll try to rub on them here just a little bit and go around the circle here. See there, it still doesn't want to quite clean it off. But it's a vast improvement from where we started. Just kind of rub them off like this. That one's got a little shine to it. And then when you get, because I don't want to use a Dremel on this shield here, I'm afraid it'll slip off and hit the cover. So sometimes a toothpick, see that green patina on there? That has been very tough to get off. Just does not want to come off. So we'll just scrape it here a little bit. And then you see the transition here. It's awful hard to get that pad all the way up to cover that transition without hitting the cover. So I can use the toothpick here. Try to work on that transition spot right there. And again, this is just something we do these steps as many times as necessary till we get the results we want. This being a special knife and a family heirloom, I'm really trying to take my time here. See that pin right there still got a lot of rust around it. So we'll just keep working on it a little bit at a time. There, that got some of it off. Okay, let's just get started on cleaning these blades off one more time and giving a go around here with the Dremel and the number 7 rubbing compound. We've come a long ways. We sure have. Okay. I'm very happy to see that even with all the heavy rust that was on this blade, it hasn't left any scarring to it. So there's very minimal scarring to it. So we got to it in time here. Oh, look at that bolster. Oh yeah. And the one thing with these blades is they will warm up pretty quickly, so you don't always want to work on them all that long. I kind of think of doing this process like spraying paint or with painting, you know, instead of trying to put one thick layer of paint on, you just use several light coats. And that's the best way with these restorations, is just do a little at a time. Let's use a toothpick, get down into here. Make sure we got any crud scraped out of there. You see some crud there in that nail nip, can't you? Uh-oh. Almost jumped off on me there, didn't it? Okay, let's change attachments. I'm going to put this conical one in here to do the back springs, because you can get a little more precise with it. With that conical shape. These brass liners were pretty rusty here on the back. I've been able to remove that. Okay. I don't know how I'm going to get rid of clean this shield up here. It's being a little bit stubborn, isn't it? Certainly is. Oh, there we go. That's looking a lot better. Them pins off a little bit. When we first started, you couldn't even really see the pins. They're looking a lot better. Okay, little by little, we're getting there. I might work on these pins and that shield a little bit off camera. It might take a while, just poking and prodding around and rubbing on them. Okay, let's look at our back springs here. Oh, I need some more patches. I go through a lot of patches. Okay. See how they're looking there. Yep, getting that darkness off of there from the rust remover. And we've gotten rid of the rust, which is good. Yeah, good soaking in the mineral oil, and that'll really cure them. Okay. Yeah, these back springs are looking pretty clean now. Yeah, get that knife oiled up. I think we're going to have good walk and talk. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to work on these bolsters here a little bit, and maybe the shield here just a little bit more. Now on these blades, I don't know if I'm going to do too much more with these blades. When I talked to Alan, I asked him, do you want me to go for, like a showroom finish, mirror polish type thing, or do you want me to leave some of the patina and leave some character to the knife? And he said, just leave some character to the knife. So I don't know how much further I'm going to go on those. That's something, when I send it back to him, he can make that decision if he wants to try to polish them more. I guess for me is our goal here was to remove the rust, to keep it from further deteriorating, and to get the knife back into working order. And we're well on our way there. So let me work on these bolsters and such here just a little bit off camera. Okay, I spent about 30 minutes off camera working on this. I tell you, these transitions on the bolsters, it was hard to get right up to that edge and get that patina off of it. So what I ended up doing was taking one of these emery boards again and just going like this. I could get a little bit more pressure on it that way, and I knew I wouldn't harm the Delrin there. So that's how I kind of got it all the way up to the edge. Again, I used this along with the rubbing compound, and I really went to town on that shield. Isn't that looking wonderful? Same thing with the pins. I'd put a little rubbing compound on with a Q-tip and swirl it around. Then I could use a sharp end to kind of just go around it, around the edge like that. And then you can use the top to just kind of cut it off so it's a little more square and you have more surface area. And just kind of keep rubbing around on it like that. So we've got our pins and our bolsters looking pretty good. The top of the blades, again, I used some sandpaper and sanded those off, so the tops of the blades look pretty good. I'm really happy. If you look at the brass liners, I don't see any rust on any of the brass liners, and they're all looking pretty shiny. I did do a little more sanding down inside, and look at how nice and clean that is. Nice and shiny. Again, these emery boards have become a lifesaver. I don't know how I did it without them. So this is like the 2500 grit, so I can wrap it in there, and then you can really get pressed down against those side walls and down across the bottom. You really can, and it just made a world of difference. It just looks so nice and clean down in there. One thing I want to point out is it's hard to get into those little corners down in there, and that's where I'm saying, you know, just this little tiny screwdriver here can help you get reached way back up in there and pull back out, because there was just a little bit of rust lingering back under there. So you got to remember to get poked back in there and pull out. We got these bottoms of the kicks here of the tangs, they're all cleaned off. Again, that brass is all nice and shiny again, no rust on them. Our back springs are looking good. Our blades, again, I'm going to stop right here, because again, Alan said he wanted some character left on them. So I could continue on trying to remove some more of those blemishes, but we are going to give it a light coat of actual metal polish, so it'll shine them up some, but we'll leave some character to it. And what else? Here's our back springs. Again, you can see it's kind of pitted down in there, and you got that patina down in there. I'm not going to do anything with that. We've got, look at those brass liners. They're all nice and shiny on top, where they were rust covered. You know, Alan, when he gets this knife back, he can finish up and go even further. You can get some fine sandpaper, and you can sit and watch TV and sand on that spot and these back springs to his heart's content and get them just as shiny as he wants them. But, you know, it's not my knife, so I'm trying to thread that needle and get it preserved, get it looking nice, but not to overdo it. So anyway, that's a roundabout way of saying it's ready for a good soak in some mineral oil. We got some nice, fresh, clean mineral oil in there. And if you're wondering about mineral oil, this is the Walmart brand, the Equate. And you find it in the pharmacy section, because mineral oil is actually a laxative. That's one of the things I like about using mineral oil, is it's safe on the skin. I mean, obviously, if you can take it internally, it's safe on the outside of your skin. So there's no chemicals, no, you know, petroleum chemicals to it at all. And it doesn't smell, and it doesn't make a mess. And it's cheap. The bottle of this is about $2. So, and mineral oil just does wonders. So I just get me a little tub and throw my knife down in there. We can let it soak for an hour or two. Sometimes what I will do is this is kind of a messy process, but you can pull it out, and I have a drain where I let it drain out, and then you can manipulate the blades back and forth a few times, and then put it back down in, and that helps you know, work out any extra rust or anything that might be on those back springs. So, but anyway, we're just going to let her soak for an hour or two, and I'll put it in the drainer, let it drain. We'll come back and get it dried off, and if we're looking good, then we'll just throw it in the sonic cleaner just to get rid of any little tiny things that might be stuck into areas where we can't get to, and then we'll put a final polish on it. Well, this is where we're standing right now, out of the mineral oil. Got it all wiped down. She's looking awful clean, isn't she? I'm loving it. I like how this is coming out. One step here I want to take is throw it into the ultrasonic cleaner. But you can see that oil there, it's pretty clean. It is pretty clean. So that means we've got rid of most of the stuff. But just in case we didn't. Using an ultrasonic cleaner, that'll help get rid of any dirty oil and any other little things that might still be down in there that you can't reach and get to. So I just use some warm water and some Dawn dishwashing liquid. I open the blades up, and hopefully that helps the cleaner penetrate a little better. And I've got it set for 5 minutes. So let's just give it a whirl here. Okay. Ta-da! Look at that. That water's not very dirty at all. It's not cloudy. I think this knife's pretty clean. But see some of that dirty oil drip out though? Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. You can see some little bit of stuff suspended in the water there. Might have been some of the grit from the sandpaper, or who knows what. But anyway, now we've had it in the water, so what I have to do is dry it off the best I can, and then we're going to throw it back in the mineral oil, and it doesn't have to be in there very long, but we just want to displace any moisture. We've got rid of all the rust. We don't want it rusting up again. So we'll throw it in the mineral oil to soak and lube it up, and then we're going to come back and polish these bolsters. Okay, it's time to put some finishing touches on here. Now, I did take the opportunity to kind of hand polish the bolsters just a little bit, because you always end up with a little bit of film from that mineral oil, so it helps to kind of initially take that film off. Let's start with the shield here. And now I'm using flits. Oh yeah. I am just tickled on how well this shield came out. It was in pretty rough shape. Okay, we'll let that dry. And now I've put a new pad on. We'll start with a new pad. Let me get another cleaner Q-tip here. And this is Flitz. And my friend Howard, good friend of the channel, he buys it in bulk, and he sent me this small bottle of it for me to try, and I've been very happy with it. So we'll just hit these up quick. I want to tell Alan thank you once again for giving me the opportunity to work on your grandpa's knife. I know what it means to have something that brings you back probably some childhood memories of going fishing with Grandpa and that. New pad, I don't put very much pressure on here. Very low speed. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at the pins. The pins are a-poppin', aren't they? They look great too. It doesn't take very much of this stuff. You know, folks, I'll put this offer out there. If you have a knife in this condition and you'd like me to clean it up for you, refurbish it for you, and do a video for you, please let me know. Just send me an email at knifedelights@gmail.com. knifedelights@gmail.com. Although I will tell you, I don't do any repairs. I'm not up to repairing knives yet. I don't feel confident enough to do them. And especially if it's an expensive knife or an heirloom knife or something, I would not like to be responsible. I feel pretty comfortable just doing refurbishments like this, but not repairs. And I'll tell you, my biggest concern is I'm doing these refurbishments like this one here. And my biggest concern is it getting lost in the mail or lost in shipping. That would just be horrible. Okay. Got the shield here. You can see how that mineral oil has cleaned up this Delrin too. It always kind of puts a little sheen back on it. I think we're there, folks. I think we are there. Yeah. I'm going to break it out and show you our final results one last time. And again, I'm honoring what Alan told me, that he wanted it all nice and cleaned up, but leave some character to the knife. And that's why I'm not going to try polishing the blades. But what we have here is a preserved knife. It's not going to rust anymore or deteriorate. And I am just very happy with how this knife turned out. Okay, there's our back springs, bolsters, pins, and shield. Here's our blades. And you can see I don't have dirty oil running out of there. It's an indication we got rid of a lot of stuff. Got the tops of the blades cleaned off. And yes, I could have taken it down more and polished it more, but we're leaving character to it. This is still a very usable knife. I guess my advice to Alan would be, you know, it's your knife, but I would put this knife back, set it back somewhere. Maybe carry it on a special occasion or something. But that's what I've done with my grandpa's knife. If you really wanted to have the memories when you went fishing to clean fish with this knife, get onto eBay, buy yourself a 34 OT model, one for you to carry and use. That way if you lose it or something, it won't be Grandpa's knife you lost. Let me know, Alan, in the comments. Did I hit the sweet spot on this one? Actually, you can send me an email. If you want me to polish it some more and work on it some more, I will. I'll do that off camera. There you have it, folks. The 34 OT Old Timer, Grandpa's knife. God rest his soul. He was a veteran and looked to be a very fine man. and I'm sure he has a very fine grandson, Alan. Now everyone go out and have yourself a very delightful day.